Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Chainsaw Man Season 1, Episode 10. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, we're picking up in the aftermath of everything. Aki finally wakes up to Power and Denji fighting over apples. Because I love that he's been chewing on them for a while, but I think she only finally just noticed because I think she was so distracted reading the manga along with him. But they're fighting over it, which is so effed up. These apples were gifts for Aki, but kind of shows how much of a douchebags they are. And even Denji chastising Power for running away. But she's like, no, I didn't run away. I went home because I was hungry. He was like, yeah, that's obviously a lie. She's like, no, you're lying. It's like, it's so interesting. I was wondering if there would be any consequences to that. It's like, whatever. She's a fiend. No one really cares. She's not that reliable. But Aki hears the news about how many people in the in Division 4 survived. And it's only Kobeni and what was his name last episode? Madoka. He survived, but obviously he quit. Kobeni is apparently still here, because we didn't hear anything about her resignation. So she must have, that was obviously said before she found out about Himenio, and obviously it hits him. The death that hits Aki the hardest is Himenio. And he's about to smoke a cigarette, but then he crumples it up, which I'm curious if that's supposed to mean that going forward, he's never going to smoke anymore. Because smoking was his and Aki's thing. She's the one that got him started smoking, and it was kind of a thing that bonded them. They connected over, and it's like, doing that without her around anymore, I don't know. Maybe for now he's not, but maybe eventually he'll light one up. It'll probably be a badass saying of, right before he dies, he lights a cigarette for the last time, just for Himenio's sake. I can see something like that. But we find out from the cursed devil how many years of his life he has left. He has 2. So, because we don't know what price he paid to make a deal with the cursed devil. We know at least with the fox devil, he loses pieces. It's his flesh that is the price to pay anytime he uses it. Or maybe it's just like it automatically took a chunk from him. But then, once again, the fox devil kind of gives it out to everyone, but only the handsome people that fox devil finds handsome are the ones that get to summon the head. But apparently now, because of last episode, the fox devil is not going to show up anymore. Not last episode, it was actually episode 8, because of you try to swallow something it didn't like and you kind of screwed it over. Apparently the fox devil's done with you. It will probably never show up again. It's like, that's interesting. I can see it being petty enough like that, when something like, hey, you're handsome, so I'm gonna let you use my head, but now that you kind of fucked me over by making me try to swallow something that kind of fucked me over, fuck you, and I'm bouncing. So that's kind of interesting to know that's not going to be in his arsenal anymore. Not unless something kind of affects that going forward. But also, he can't keep using the curse because he's only got 2 years of his life. Because we don't know how much of his life gets chipped away every time he uses the curse blade. Does it cut his life in half over and over and over again? Does him smoking a cigarette, does that affect it at all? So, for example, does he also have less time because of cigarettes? Or is it just a thing of, is it like a predetermined thing of, you have 2 years, nothing else will happen? Like, you were just kind of impenetrable to everything. Well, I mean, it seems like you could just naturally... I'm sure natural death can come to you, so that's why I'm assuming he could still get, lung cancer from smoking, but... it could be a culmination of lung cancer and the fact is the curse being what it is, expedite, because he could easily die from the curse faster than he could from lung cancer type of thing. So, but yeah, that's interesting knowing you've only got 2 years to live. Whether he's already dead in the manga, because wherever the manga goes, or whether he just dies by the end of the series by his own hand using the cursed devil's power, or just naturally dies, he's just not making out it as. I don't think there's any retroactively getting your life back. I mean, where I know, once again, my only experience with this series is the anime, so like I said, I don't know where, for one, I don't know what these next 2 episodes are going to include, but I also don't know what the future of the series includes, manga-wise, so that's something just to keep in mind, so. But yeah, him kind of breaking down, and it kind of plays into what Himenio had said, right, like you need to survive so you can cry for me, because she talked about how he was always it's so easy for him to cry, but he'd also do it in private. Hell, Denji tried to come back to get his manga, and he's like, well, this guy kind of cried, and it's like, I kind of don't want to get my manga now, because I'm like, I can't really blame him. Most of his partners died. Hell, even Himenio bit the bullet. But now he's also thinking like, Himenio was like the only person that wanted to kind of be my friend. Am I an asshole for not like crying? Because it's like, I was super sad when Pochita like died, but that, but once again, it's like, yeah, but that's always a technicality because Pochita is technically with you, but even Power called that out as hogwash. But that's such a technicality. But he starts thinking like, well, how would I feel like if Power died? Would I shed tears? And he's like, probably not. Aki, I don't know. What about Miss Makima? It's like, Makima is like, I'd probably be sad for a while. He's like, I can probably give myself 3 days. I'd probably be sad. But then, like, I just kind of go off and live life. Because he's like, being able to eat, sleep, and enjoy, like, the aspects of life. There's just so much good there that in itself, eating, sleeping in a comfortable place, all of that is just enough to enjoy life, considering his upbringing and stuff. So now he's kind of wondering, he's like, does that mean I don't have a heart? Like, what does that say about me? But then he was like, fuck it. Why am I thinking about all this depressing shit? Like, might as well, why overthink it? Let's just go. So, Makima calls them to go get trained by Home Dude. They probably said his name before, but they don't drop his name this episode. But the teacher dude, he's the one that's like, and he asks the questions of, how did you feel about your team members dying? And it's like, both of them are kind of like, well, what was it? I think Denji's response was okay, I guess. And then Powers was like, oh, I was thinking to myself, they've died. And it's like, do you want revenge? And it's like, not really. And whose side would you choose? Like a human or devil? And Denji's like, whichever side is taking care of me. And Power is like, whichever side's winning. And it's like, being frank about it, he's like, wow, I will give you guys full scores. And I will be the one taking over your training. He's like, I am the strongest devil hunter. So whatever devil beats me is obviously the strongest devil. So I'm going to be hunting you two until you're able to beat me. And he's super strong. And he just with his like grabbing their necks and squeezing, he breaks both of their necks. And it's like, yeah, that's the thing. For the most part, yes, you guys are practically immortal. He's immortal. She's almost immortal, but yeah, like because you're so much basically like humans, your neck gets snapped, you're pretty much immobilized, but a little bit of blood, you're right back at it. So the training begins, and Home Dude is pretty damn skilled. He seems kind of like the stoic like Shifu that's just like, I kick ass. He's like, I'm gonna make you the most badass devil hunters ever. And just like, I mean, the way he got Denji, like stabbed him up real quick, got him through the neck, sliced Power's neck, and it's just, repeatedly killed them over and over again. Hell, even to the final time, he's like, all right, you guys go home. And then Power had to bash Denji's head in a little bit. She's like, wait, did your brain not recover? Because he was like, and she had to like bash his head a little bit just so like she could do damage to his brain so he can kick in his healing factor. It's like, how many times I died? She's like, I don't know, 20? She's like, but to be fair, I wasn't always conscious every time you died, so it could be more. And now they're walking home and they're pissed because it's like, that bastard is treating us like toys. He literally said he always wanted toys he couldn't break because as a kid, he always broke his toys because he was too strong. So I wonder what his circumstances are. Is he just naturally strong or what? Or is it a bot? I'd assume, I was like, I mean, once again, we don't know what contract he made, what devil he made a contract with. But either way, these two are concocting a plan. They're like, oh, all we have to do is outsmart him. I was like, cool. The two dumbest people are going to try and come up with a plan. You two together equals one brain cell. So maybe you'll concoct something. They had some strategy. I do like, could we get that look? Because you see it in the opening, but like Power with the glasses. I was like, that's a really nice look for her. Yeah, but they had a trap set. Power's like harpoons blood through the door, has blood bottles sitting on the top floor, the floor above them, and has them kind of raining down like harpoons too. But he just like dodges around and breaks them with his bare fist. Denji tries to attack, but gets immobilized by a kick that I guess kind of pseudo snapped his neck. But yeah, took Denji down. It's like, wow, that was actually pretty smart, But the problem is, you didn't see my attack coming, Denji, so you got hit. Also, power, if she uses up too much blood, she kind of becomes useless because she becomes anemic. So, yeah, there's only a limit to how much, there is that, the example I think of is like the show Gen V, like, the same thing happens to, Marie, that she gets woozy and anemic because it is her own blood she's using as a weapon. But you think like, oh, is it limited supply? It's like, well, yeah, her arsenal gets replenished after a while, but it takes a while. I'm curious what, like, despite being a fiend, like how long it would take her to replenish blood. Would it take her like the normal human length amount of time, or what? I'm sure getting more blood in your system will just expedite your blood recovery, but still. It's still kind of like, right, she's limited in how much she can do without going overboard. And it's like, yeah, I'm done for today. And he's like, oh, Powie, he said that we're done. And then immediately tosses a knife into Denji's head. He's like, yeah, don't ever trust your opponent like a devil. Like, people lie. So, yeah, the hard knock life, it's like you kind of feel bad for him. It's like, man, you guys are getting your shit rocked in. But it's like, right, this is also part of like what Makima's got planned because she needs them to get stronger. She's also building a like stronger squad for Division 4 because she's like, I have to. Once again, my understanding last episode was like all the other divisions are going to fold into 4. So I wonder, will there be new divisions 1, 2, and 3, or will they no longer even be Division 4? They'll just be the special division, and everything gets acclimated to that, at least for now. Who knows? I think they're going to stay separate, and just 4 is going to be the main force going forward, because it needs to revolve around Denji, because he's important enough that the Gun Devil had the hotel situation set up, as well as his most recent attack, just for the purposes of getting his heart, which is Pochita, the Chainsaw Devil. So why the Gun Devil is so afraid, why Pochita but slash Denji so important, still unclear, but he is the thing that everyone, is something Makima was counting on, even something Himenio was counting on, of, hey, this might be the key we need to killing the Gun Devil. But anyway, back to Aki. Our 2 from Kyoto we met last episode have come to be coaches. They made it clear, like, yeah, we're not joining your division. And it's like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. But they're here only to coach the new division. And they're telling Aki, like, right, you need to make a contract with a new devil. Or you could go into the private sector, or you could just walk away and enjoy whatever life you have left. But for Aki, it's like, the devils that killed my family are still out there, so why would I call it quits? And they're like, yeah, heard the rumors that everyone in special divisions is kind of crazy. And it's like, yeah, but he gets a visit, and we never actually see her face. I wonder, does she look a lot like Himenio? The reason why he had that look on his face. But Himenio's little sister shows up, and it looked like a whole bunch of envelopes, so I guess those are just all the letters Aki had sent her over the years. And this most recent one was her talking. Well, I don't know if this is the most recent one, but it's a letter that I guess maybe it's a very specific one, or maybe it's supposed to be in all these letters about Aki, because she's like asking her sister about their dad and making sure he's okay, but her talking about, hey, I'm asking Aki to leave, because she's saying, like, right, I don't think we should stay in this division anymore. And she was meaning Himenio, and I think that's kind of the point. It's kind of something that what's his face had said, like, the guy was like, oh, did she tell you off? And he was like, no, she just gave me the letters. The letters kind of speak for themselves, because Himenio was serious every time she was telling Aki we should go to the private sector. Probably after meeting Aki, like, who knows, maybe she had that dynamic with every other partner she had and was a similar thing, but maybe meeting Aki's the one that made her go, right, like, after that, I was like, I can't go through losing another partner, so this has to be the end-all be-all. But Aki would never leave, and despite her trying to be serious about it, she saw how determined he was. And now there is that guilt of, Himenio wanted out. She wanted out, and she only stayed because of me, because my need for revenge was that strong. But that probably motivates him even more of like, well, I got to see it through. I've only got 2 years left on the clock. Himenio is gone now, so it sucks and it's shitty, but she's gone, and I can't make it all for nothing. Because if I bail out now, then that'd be taking the coward's way out. It'd be the easy way out to be like, oh, I should give up on revenge. It's like, no, I should have done that before, but it's too late. My revenge is all I have left now. Got to go 10 toes down, stay fast with this. So our 2 from Kyoto take him to to a new where they have all these other devils captured, and he's going to meet the future devil, and two other people have contracts with the future devil. It's one person lost their eyesight, their smell, and their taste. Both their They didn't say eyesight, they just said specifically both their eyes, but could just mean eyesight, but it could just be literally both of your eyes just sucked out of your head, they're taken from you, or but also your smell and taste, because I feel like if it was like eyesight, they would just said eyesight instead of just eyes. Either way, but the other person had to give up half their life, which is interesting considering like how little Aki has left. Which I'm like, what will be the price he would have to pay? It's like, yeah, if the future devil likes you, it'll cut you a nice bargain. But it's like, what does the future devil give you then? I'm assuming insight gives you like the power of foresight and stuff like that, using its power. I guess that's supposed to be what it does. But I'm curious who are the other two people that made a contract with her, because it's definitely not Makima, because they don't know what Makima's devil contract is, so it's definitely not her. So I'm curious, not unless it's the teacher dude that we met, like not unless his is the one that got cut in half, because he still has his eyes that we're aware of. Either way, my immediate thought was, I wonder is the price going to be his memories of Himenio. It feels like that is something important enough that would probably end up being the price, but we'll see whether that ends up being the case, like what the price is that he paid. It's kind of wild to think we are near the end of the season, considering like where the story is. It almost feels weird that this is like the tail end of the season. Like I said, there's only 2 more episodes after this. Once again, I know I'll talk about it more with the season finale, or finale. I don't know what I'm probably going to label it the season finale and talk about it more where this all goes going forward. But like I said, I'll have to have the greater context of what actually happens in the episode to actually talk about it. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the penultimate episode has in store for us and what that sets up for the season finale/finale. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.